Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 106. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty and Kevin Ardall, and we have a special guest. It is none other than reoccurring guest JT underscore the Ginger, and that's where you can find him on Twitter at JT underscore the Ginger. You can find Sean at Nasty Billy 22. You can find Kevin at SEA2 Believe, that's C2 Believe. Find me at Beatty underscore Matt. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think in the comments below of the topics we talk about. Leave us a like, dislike our videos, whatever you want to do. We're going to start first with the farewell tour of Megan Rapinoe, as we have been the last few shows. She has a game tomorrow. We are recording this on Tuesday, Wednesday, September 6th at Lumen Field against Racing Louisville FC. You can watch that on CBS Sports. And then she is in Portland on not this Saturday, but next Saturday at Providence Park in Portland against Portland Thorns. You can watch that on Fox 13 Plus or Paramount Plus. If you're in Canada somehow, you can watch that on TSN Plus. Then she is at home against the North Carolina Courage. That is October 1st. And then she wraps up her home schedule, at least for the regular season, versus the Washington Spirit on Friday, October 6th. So support Megan Rapinoe as she ends her soccer career. Her final game will be on Paramount Plus against the Chicago Red Stars, and that is October 15th on a Sunday before the NWSL playoffs. All right, but gentlemen, let's get into it. I haven't really been watching a whole lot of Mariners baseball, unfortunately, but it seems like the sky is falling. Chicken Little is running around with his head cut off. The Mariners have fallen off, everybody. Since we were last on the podcast on Monday, they have lost 5 of 7. So everybody panic, hit that panic button, the alarm, whatever you got near you, just everybody just run around and scream. All right. So they are in Cincinnati right now, have lost 2 of 3. They wrap up the series tomorrow in Cincinnati at 3:40 p.m. Logan Gilbert's going to be on the mound. Then they got 4 in Tampa Bay. And I haven't really watched any baseball. So, JT, as our guest, what have you thought of the Seattle Mariners in this last week? And since you haven't been on, what have you thought of them this season?
Well, this season just, lull us into a false sense of security and then totally redeem themselves. Baseball is a marathon and they've got a tough final kick ahead, but I've been pleasantly surprised. This pitching staff is redonkulous, pretty fun to watch, all the young arms. I'm really happy with what they did at the trade deadline. Well, happy, content. I was, but as of recently, I mean, it's tough to win 8 in a row, and then 4 in a row after that. I mean, that's what they're coming off of going into this, 2-5 streak. New York, it's not. It's still New York. It's at New York. It's still you know a, a somewhat tough team to beat. I mean, New York's still hovering right around 500, and Cincinnati is just right there with them. I mean, aren't they pretty much the same kind of win loss? And I mean, they got a bunch of young studs. Might recognize a couple via the Luis Castillo trade, but it's baseball. I mean, it's kind of law of averages. I don't think the sky's falling. It's just kind of hitting a rough patch, and it's just unfortunate because there is a tough road ahead.
Kevin, what have you thought about the Seattle Mariners and why is JT wrong and you should panic? Let's just start with there.
Oh yeah, I just completely disown the Seattle Mariners. When you lose 5 out of 7, yeah, I can't be a fan of you, to be honest.
Can't be trusted, frankly.
Yeah, honestly, all my Mariners stuff, I put it in a pile and I took a big fat heaping dump on it, and then I set it on fire. Um, while filming a video saying, F the Mariners the whole time. Yeah, no, it's just yeah, there's been some close ones. Like I told people too, like, yeah, sure, the Mets and the Reds have been dying down, but they're still not horrible teams. Like they can play still. And unfortunately, we lost. They're paid to play, and we're gonna lose some here and there. So better start winning them now because the rest of the schedule, especially the end of the season, does not look great. So, I mean, should we panic? No, God, no. It's just too much baseball left to be played. But am I happy about losing 5 out of the last 7? No. I mean, it's you put yourself in a really good spot, putting it yourself at the top of the division, and then now you just reward that by now having to. But I mean, you don't have to fight, claw and scratch, but I mean, you're not gonna be able to relax either. At the same time, you're gonna have to play good, hard baseball, and you're gonna have to try to win the series against two teams that are still clawing for that in your own division, plus people outside the division. So you're playing the Dodgers and Tampa Bay, who are both really good teams that are not, you're going to be lucky if you win those series. So yeah, from here on out, you got to win a series. Essentially, there's a lot of teams in the AL that really want to go in, and especially in the AL East and then in the AL West. Central, not too much, but yeah, you got to clean it up. So
I need to apologize. I totally said the Yankees, didn't I? My eye's been twitching all day. Do I need to get like my health checked?
Yankees, Mets. I mean,
I just realized I was just like,
they're
what was
pretty
I
close, aren't they?
saying?
They're pretty similar in record, aren't they? Pretty close. Let's
My
see.
bad. I've been coaching flag football, and I got to switch gears in baseball. But anyway, sorry, Matt.
No, you're
or
good.
Thew.
Thank you, Thew here. Sean, what have you thought of the Mariners this last week?
Well, I mean, this last week has not been good, but yeah, it's like to kind of take G and Kevin's point. I would say the sky's falling because Cincinnati, while I don't think they're as good as their record says, they're still a better ball club than a lot of people thought coming in the year, kind of like the Mariners a little bit. And the Mets still have a lot of talent despite getting rid of a good chunk of it. They still, I mean, when you give up 2 home runs to Pete Alonso, who tends to hit home runs, they're going to win a game, and they won one of the games that way, and another game the Mariners couldn't get a hit with bases loaded. So it's kind of just. I think I saw their average was 140 in the last like 15 games with runners in scoring position. Their average was like 220, 250 before that. So like they've just had bad luck with runners in scoring position these last 15 or so games. So like they were so hot, they set the record for most wins in a Mariners team ever. And yeah, their regression was going to hit a little bit. They're just not going to win 21 games a month. It's just not going to happen. And it just sucked that it came against 2 teams I was hoping they could take care of business with. But at the end of the day, if they'd won these series, it still didn't matter a ton because you're playing the 2 teams you're competing with anyways. Like you were always going to have to beat Houston and Texas anyways. It would be nice to have a little bit of a buffer going into those series, but you still have to beat them. Like it doesn't really change the dynamics. You just have to beat them a little bit more than you would have had to if you had like kind of taken the series from these 2 teams. But still, like you have to beat Houston and Texas. That doesn't change that. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. The season's not over. No, everyone freaking out. The season's over. It doesn't look great right now, but you're gonna find out here. Even this Tampa Bay series, it's 4, so it's a lot. Don't get swept, obviously, but like you split it, you're gonna play 7 games against Texas, right? Is that right at the end of the year, and then 6 against Houston? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like it's a bunch. So you're controlling your own destiny either way, either if you swept these series or not. So it really comes down to the rest of the second half of September, anyways.
All right, well, let's talk about your confidence in them winning the AL West and making the playoffs. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being they're done, put them in the toaster. 10, I guarantee they win the division, make the playoffs. Where are you guys at? Because as someone who can relate to winning 8 in a row in fantasy baseball and then petering out in the playoffs, sometimes it's just not your week or your 2 weeks. So, JT, where's your confidence level in this team to make the playoffs and win the AL West? I lost to Rob.
But you had the best playoff experience because you got 2 full weeks at it. No other league does it that way. Must have a great commish. my confidence in the Mariners winning the AL West. Oh man, that is a tough one. 1-3. Is that a good ratio?
1-3.
Yeah,
Mine was
yeah,
gonna be 3. So yeah,
one and
like I'm
3.
there with JT. Mine's a 3.
I mean, the Rangers in the Seattle series, that's 7 games, and 7 of the last 10 games of the year might really come down to that. I mean, otherwise they've got Cleveland, LA, Boston, or the Angels,
Both LAs.
Boston, Toronto, Oakland. They're playing
Yeah.
Houston. Texas is losing the series against Houston currently.
They're getting run over by Houston. that's what it's a 3 because I think it's Houston's to lose, and then the Texas and the Mariners are fighting for the other team. The other spot.
Right. Whereas Houston gets San Diego, Oakland, Kansas City. Wow, woof. Like,
Yeah.
and then Baltimore, and then Kansas City again, and then Seattle and Arizona. Really, I feel like if I'm feeling confident, I'd say it's 50-50 because the Astros have a really nice schedule as it lines up, but they are not doing so well in the health department. Altuve was up the other game, and Alvarez with his knee.
He's hitting home runs like crazy now, though. So unfortunately, so
And they're I mean, it's yeah, I'd say probably Houston's going to squeak it out, but I feel really good against Texas. Their pitching is just throwing in that barbecue of a dome, just giving up just all kinds of dingers.
Sean, what's your confidence level in them winning the AL West and making the playoffs?
Oh, well, that's two. Those are two different answers.
Exactly.
I say 3 for winning the AL West is like a 3. Making the playoffs is a 6. A little bit better than a coin flip, but still pretty close to a coin flip.
Kevin, what do you think?
Oh, winning? Yeah, not great. I'd say like 37%.
So a 3, like Kevin. Yeah, we'll just all say 3s.
It's a little bit more than a third.
Okay. Well,
Third is 33.33.
Well, to be fair, Matthew asked on a scale of 1 to 10, and you gave a percentage.
I mean, that is technically on a scale of 1 to
that's on
10,
the
just
scale.
adding another
but not in the
decimal.
percentage.
3.7, sucker.
Okay, there you go. On a scale of 1 to 10, 33% is not on that scale. But
no, 37%.
Okay, it doesn't matter. The percent is not on the scale.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 3 stars. All right.
It's
Yeah,
3.7 out of 10.
It's like a Michael Scott grading system on the beach day. Yes. Like you gave a gold star, a thumbs up.
Is there a conversion chart in here? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well,
playoffs, Kevin. What's their odds of making the playoffs?
86.
Wow. That's really high.
Oh, it's almost in near guarantee territory. That's bold. All right. Well, there was some news. The Angels cast off a bunch of players, and the Mariners picked one up. They picked up Dominic Leone, a relief pitcher, and I see he has made 1 appearance and gave up an earned run.
He's a former. He's been a Mariner before.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he pitched today actually and gave up 2 earned runs.
Ah. So is this move significant at all for the Mariners, Sean?
Not really. They just needed more arms, and they are familiar with him. So it was for free. So I get why they did it. They are familiar with him. They think they can work with him, and they needed another arm in the bullpen. So significant, no, but I get it.
And
Kevin, would you agree with that?
Oh, it's life changing. We're gonna wait now because no, it's Sean mentioned it's just another arm in there to give boys days off, essentially.
Well, I would ask JT, but is that a consensus then? It sounds like it's a consensus there.
Yeah, other than just bolstering a strong slew of names we got on the roster, I mean that name is at 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, otherwise
we have 2 Dominics now. Canzone and Leone.
Yeah. And they rhyme.
Wow. Whoa.
Okay. So they did that on purpose. That's what Jerry did. Attaboy, Jerry. All right. Well, let's talk about some young guys that are coming up in the system. And I know JT did some, I believe, radio for the Tri-City Dust Devils. Was it for the Everett Aqua Sox? And you got some prospect updates for us?
Yeah, actually, it was on field, um, like hype work in between innings, games, and things of that nature. Um, it was a lot of fun, and it was the 6 game series against the Aqua Sox. The fact that they bat the top 3 current prospects in order is a sign that they are very good at what they do. Cole Young was batting first, Harry Ford was batting second, and Gabriel Gonzalez was batting third. And ironically, those are ranked 1, 2, and 3 in order for the prospect rankings for the sale.
None of those guys can drink in the stadium, by the way, legally. just so you know.
It's a bit ridiculous. Yeah, that high A team. I think they just sealed their playoff spot.
Yep.
Was it yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
So they have a good team, and they showed out. Harry Ford, I think he had. See, again, I was kind of going back and forth. I didn't go back and recap. I know he had 1 grand slam in the game. I can't remember if he had the second one or if Gonzalez had the second grand slam. But just to, when you have 2 grand slams in the game, that's a recipe for success. Especially when you don't have as many hits as your opposing team. Like they walked, loaded the bases, and then hit a grand slam. Like that's pretty efficient. That's a good way to do it. So it was impressive to see. I got some pictures and video of Harry Ford. He is a super focused, locked in, like habitual, just routine before the game. And yet when fans are like clamoring for him, he was very cordial and saying, "Hey, I'll get you guys after the game. I'm doing my thing right now." And he did. He would sign autographs and hang around after every single game. And that was really cool to see. He's got the professional, mantra going, but he still has that personal touch with the fans.
Very nice. Very nice. Kevin, any prospect watch on your end?
Yeah, other than Modesto going ape shit against teams. Darren Bowen had a nice outing for Modesto the other night. I think he had 5 or 6 scoreless innings, and like 7K, something like that. What else? Skylar Messenger for them has been really good. I mean, pretty much everybody on that. A lot of people on that team are just raking. As we kind of mentioned on the last podcast, Modesto is just a really fun team to watch right now. They're just kind of pooping on people. So other than what we said last week, there hasn't been really a whole much other than the scoreless start by everyone. So.
Sean, any other prospects you want to mention?
To JT's point, actually, now there's no consensus ranking, but I believe Baseball America actually has Cole Young jumping Harry Ford in the Mariners ranking. I think he's jumping up to 32 in overall prospects in all of baseball. So he's turning a lot of heads recently. And then for the low A Modesto Nuts, I saw a stat that said that of all high school drafted players this last year, there's at least 50 that qualified. Number 1 best so far has been Colt Emerson of the Mariners, and number 8 has been Ty Pete of the Mariners as well. So they've been both killing it. And then their buddy on the same team, Montas, was actually named that league's player of the month. So despite how good those other 2 was, Montas was still playing better than them. Montes. And so a 170 WRC plus will do that for you. So those guys all been killing it. So and I want to give a little shout out to Sam Carlson because since he's coming out of the pen, it's been I like what I see. So yes.
I just heard all the other names I wanted to mention except for one, and it's Hogan Windish. And not only was he the Mariners Development Player of August, but he was also the MILB offensive player of August for high A. Like he had a month.
Can you say his name one more time?
Hogan Windish.
Wow. All right. Yeah. You're a baseball player. You're
He's
born.
20.
You're just a
He's
baseball
20,
player. Yeah.
2010. Okay.
Also, it seems like everybody here is a hat guy. I mean, how do you have a Modesto Nuts hat, JT? Like, look at this. These are great. Like the Nut superhero, the Copa de la Diversion. Like, oh, these are sick hats. I need to get myself Modesto Nuts hat.
Yeah.
I
After I
unfortunately I don't have a nuts hat. The walnut kind of gives me some bad memories from childcare growing up. You would make us eat the walnuts from the tree, and I hated walnuts. So, but otherwise, yeah, the Copa hat, sure, I could go for that.
Just think about just get a different nut. There's like different nuts there.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were like a one nut team, but
Because that nut at the
phrasing.
bottom, the middle two bottom ones don't look like walnuts. So just get one of those.
I think this is just a straight peanut.
Yeah, see, you could
With
JT.
the abnormally large chin.
Yeah,
Well,
seriously.
You know, it's not a walnut. I won't give you a PTSD from that, at least.
If you want to get that hat, go nuts. I'm not going to stop you.
Well played. Well played. All right. Well, the Mariners are currently sitting a game back of Houston, 1 game ahead of Texas. And like we have mentioned, they are in Tampa Bay, and then they've got back-to-back 3-game series against LA teams. So keep looking out for the Mariners, and we'll see how they do coming down the stretch. We have some live reports coming. Kevin, you are going to be at an LA game. Is that correct?
I was, but that got canceled. So
Brutal.
be gone. Seattle.
Brutal. Sean is still planning to go to the end of the season.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The second to last game. Second last game.
So
Yeah.
could be tears, could be
30,
jeers.
30.
We'll find out. But either way, we'll be tuning into the Mariners down the stretch. So let us know what you've thought so far of their season, what you think of their home stretch coming down towards the wire to make the playoffs. Go ahead and tweet at I have a Beta Score to Matt. Sean is at Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is at C2 Believe. That's SEA2 Believe. And JT is at JT _ the Ginger. And fellas, it is that time of year. Yes, football is upon us. It starts in 2 days. I have one more fantasy football draft tomorrow, but I am looking forward to some live football that actually counts. And let us start with the Seahawks officially finalizing the 53-man roster. I mean, injuries and all that sort of stuff notwithstanding. They have officially made the 53-man roster. I will share my screen here so everybody can see what it looks like. As you can see, 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 9 offensive line. Defensive line has 6, linebacker has 10, 6 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, and 3 specialists, and a partridge in a pear tree. Sean, what do you think of this 53-man roster that it was at the initial time of the cut?
It is I'll say better than last year's team. I think they are better. I don't think any surprises. They kept Bobo. So there you go, Jake Bobo season. They kept Kevin's boy Kenny, running back. There's no real surprises. Practice squad looks interesting. They are a little bit nicked up at defensive tackle already. So with Morris being questionable, so that's making me a little nervous. But again, nothing more surprising. They are, again, I will say slightly better than last year. I was hoping maybe a little bit better feelings coming out of the preseason, but they are a better team than last year. I'll give them that.
Kevin, what do you think of this 53-man roster? Any surprises for you?
I'm surprised that this roster is so damn good. We're gonna win the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding. 6 defensive line at first, but then I was like, well, Daryl Taylor and Boye Mafe are not gonna actually play linebacker along with. Are we? I don't even know what Nick Ballore is. He's not. They have him as linebacker just still. Nick Ballore is a cheerleader. That's what he is. No, nothing really stands out other. I'm looking over here. Yeah, no, nothing.
JT, anything shocking for you on this roster?
No, I don't think there's too many surprises. Ultimately, just kind of looking forward to see Jen Reed back. I want to see how Witherspoon fares. I mean, just like there's just more of just like the names we're familiar with, and I'm nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, Nick Bellore is kind of funny because on a different spot, I think ESPN has him like fullback and linebacker, and I mean he's multi-position eligible. He's a Swiss Army knife for Pete. So let's see it.
He doesn't play any of them well, but he does play multiple positions.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you guys. No real surprises. Jake Bobo. It seemed like everybody was like pretty sure on him, so not surprising when he made the final roster. And like Kevin said, 6 defensive line is a little odd, but linebackers are going to be kind of moving into the pass rushing positions anyway, so really not super surprising there. They have Kobe Bryant listed at safety on depth charts, so
Yep.
I mean, I guess he's a multifaceted player for them too. So
That's what he played preseason. He's the safety.
and I wasn't sure DJ Dallas was going to make the team, but it is nice to see him on that roster. But I believe this is the final year of his rookie deal, if I'm not mistaken. But so who knows how much longer he'll be on the team. So at least he gets a shot for his final year of his contract. So let's talk a little bit about Jackson Smith and Jigba, rookie wide receiver. According to a report from August 30th, he has been out there on the practice field catching passes. I'm not sure if people have seen the video of him out there catching passes. It's hard to tell if he'll play week 1. I would be very shocked if he did, but based on video and practice, maybe he will. I'm going to defer to people with better medical knowledge than myself. So, Sean, what do you think are the chances that Jackson Smith and Jigba is out there on Sunday?
Um, what are the chances? I have no idea. Should he? No. But again, he broke a bone. I haven't heard specifics of what he broke in his hand. But again, bones take about 8 weeks to heal. He will not be healthy for 8 weeks. From the second preseason game, was that it? The Cowboys game, second preseason game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been 2 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks by the time they play. So again, I would love to rest him till the bye week. Doesn't look like he's gonna want to, so he's gonna be cleared because again, we talked about this with the Russell injury a couple years ago. He's cleared because he can't do further damage other than break it again, or if there's a plate or a screw in it, it won't break there. It'll break at the pressure points at the end of the plate or the screw or whatever. But like, just because you can't do more damage doesn't mean you're healthy. Doesn't mean you're fully healthy. Doesn't mean you're functioning fully. I don't know what bone again he broke in his hand, but he's not going to be at full health to catch passes. I would just rather see like 2 tight end sets or something like that, and let the 2 receivers that we know run routes out there, and let Jackson when he's healthy contribute when he's healthy. There's no need to delay this or possibly make this injury last longer than it needs to. Just please, like near the end of the year, I want you healthy, so we have 3 guys healthy.
According to the Brady Henderson story on ESPN, he broke a bone in his left wrist during the team's second preseason game, August 19th.
There's a lot of bones in your wrist.
There are a lot of bones.
Unfortunately.
Kevin, you have medical knowledge more than most people. You're a pharmacist. Don't give me that look. Anyway, what do you think? Should Jackson Smith or Njigba play?
No. Like,
do you think he will?
I mean, shoot, the fact that Pete let Jamal Adams play with a broken thing. The main reason is you shouldn't, because he can do more damage to it. Also, like, you're gonna have no, especially if it's any part in that wrist, you're gonna have no push-off game of like when you're fighting with a DB. Like, and then also if you go up for a ball and then have to come down, and then you trying to brace yourself in any way or shape or form with that hand is probably not great. So should he play? No. Will he play? I'd say 40-60, 40 being no, or 40 being yes, 60 being no. But Sean is right. He probably should wait until I would say October, probably the run to buy to come back. Because even with pain meds, like I mean, well, I don't know. I haven't looked at their pill, like what he can take and what he cannot. I imagine ibuprofen is probably the most he can do. So, which is
Oh,
just,
they got the good stuff, Kevin. Come on.
well,
They'll
I
give him more
mean
than
that you're,
ibuprofen.
I mean, he's probably not allowed to be on hydrocodone when he's out there, but I imagine maybe tramadol.
Oh,
But
they're gonna be injecting painkillers. They're not gonna be. He's not gonna be taking
well,
pills.
yeah. Hopefully not Torlac, but they're gonna give him some form of injectable NSAID and pain reliever that, you know. So yeah, should he play? No, absolutely not. But at the same time, too, when you look at the depth after the first three, it doesn't look exciting. And now I know that Seahawks fans are like, but look what Jake Bobo did in preseason. Yeah, that's against 2s and 3s. Like, I don't want to see Jake Bobo against, top DBs. Like, I just don't want to see that. And Cody Thompson and Drake Young, you then just have to hope that Tyler and DK stay healthy and can do things, and then you have the tight ends too. But so I think you just go based on what you had last year with the 2 top receivers, and then use your tight ends to plus your running backs to get the job done. So just let him sit out. There's no point for him to play. Like in the beginning of the ski, if I remember the schedule correctly, the beginning of it is the easier part of the schedule. I'd have to look at it again, but yeah, so no, you should not.
Yeah, I think he probably will play. But I disagree with Kevin. I'd like to see Jake Bobo out there instead of him. I don't think he should play. I throw Jake out there, or I think Tariq Young is also out. So don't put him out there. But I think he will be out there. JT, what do you think?
I think it's funny that you guys talk about Jake Bobo was like the 5th receiver on this team. Like he's not the 4th.
I hear Bobo and I think of W. Shoe Philip Bobo, with if I remember right, a really sweet touchdown in a snow Apple Cup game way back when. The wrist, I'm kind of looking at the schedule. And it's like if they don't have to force him back, you know, what then that'd be great. First 4 games: Rams, Lions, Panthers, Giants. Do you think we need a 3rd receiver for those games? I feel like those should be fine. And by the 6-week timetable, the Bengals roll around, and it'd be nice to score some extra points and have them on the field. So I mean, I don't know. It's a risk. I don't think, depending on where exactly. I mean, I would think it would be straightforward. Just let him heal up and get some of that Russell healing water, or
Man, that's 2 pods in a row we've referenced nano bubbles.
yeah, I listen to you guys pod every week, but yeah, especially last week.
Nano bubbles. Okay.
Now,
Nano
how much do you
bubbles.
need to heal that sort of thing? Do you have to drink like 1 bottle, or is it like you have to have a continuous like IV of it in order to get the healing properties? Does anyone know? Or
IV's probably the best way to get it.
probably.
I could ask my wife. She's playing Xbox Lego Harry Potter, and in Harry Potter, growing bones is a lot more difficult than healing them, if you remember from the movie.
Yes.
So go find out what spell that is and conjure it up.
Well, I will say, don't interrupt your wife playing Lego Harry Potter, because that seems rude. But we are going to take a break, and we will be right back with some Jamal Adams news and then our predictions right after this. Welcome back to Washington East to West Sports. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside by Kevin Ardall, Sean Beatty, JT_the Ginger. That is his handle on YouTube. Sean is at NastyBilly22. Kevin is at C2Believe, SEA2Believe, and I am at Beatty_Matt. Follow us. Let us know what you think in the comments of the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like them. let's talk more Seahawks. Jamal Adams has been ruled out for the opener. Sad face. And it appears that Julian Love will be starting in his place. Sean, what do you think of Jamal Adams not playing? How sad are you on a scale from 1 to 100%?
Yeah, 2 stars.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
and one thumbs up, but one also thumbs down. No, I want him to be healthy because he needs to start playing better into that contract. So I'm okay with him sitting until he's healthy. He needs to be healthy, like what I said with the Jackson Smith thing. Like, be 100% when you're coming back and playing. So I'm fine with him sitting out a week. Again, it's the Rams. They're probably not going to have any Cooper Cup even. So, I mean, this is probably, again, like JT talked about, this is kind of the first couple weeks, other than Detroit, where you could afford to kind of sit your DBs. So, like, what Carolina has Adam Thielen. Like, if you get torched by Adam Thielen, let's light the season on fire as it is. So, yeah, I'm okay with him sitting to be healthy. Just please be healthy and please be good.
Kevin, what do you think of Jamal Adams sitting out? Are you with Sean with 2 stars and a thumbs up and a thumbs down?
I mean, more like 3 like faces. It's probably the best. I mean, yeah, would I like to have him out there? Sure, because he does do some things well. And yes, I want to see. I mean, if we're paying him that contract, that boy better be playing out of his goddamn mind. But plus he needs to help. He needs to develop those safety skills and coverage and stuff like that, which he's gotten slightly better, but not a whole lot. I mean, we'll know. I mean, first game, I don't know if he's healthy or not. Is Cooper Cup playing?
They don't know yet.
I would say unlikely.
Yeah, they haven't really said anything. He's in Minnesota with a hip specialist. So
if Cooper Cup plays, then
specialist.
then that will kind of determine it. But otherwise, I think we'll be okay. So yeah, I guess my scale on 1 out of 10 is like, yeah.
JT, where are you on the scale from 1 to 100% with thumbs and stars and stuff? And mms.
I'm gonna take it to elementary school days. I'm gonna do a check minus.
Ooh.
First check saying, in Jamal Adams' Seahawks tenure, known him to not play more so than play. And then the other check is, I think this was kind of expected. It's rather have him healthy than 80%. And the minus is that he is missing a game. But you know what? I've lived a life where 16 games was plenty of games played in a season. So 17, it's like, it's just one.
Yeah, I am like this, and then a Owen Wilson. Wow. The wow is because I thought he'd be ready to go at this point after missing all of last year. So the injury must be just lingering, or I don't know. I'm not a medical person. These guys might be able to talk more about it, but I am surprised that he is not quite ready yet. And then the shrug is for, well, get healthy and please come back when you're totally healthy, because like Sean said, I'd like to see you on the field for as much as possible, and 1 game's not a big deal. Hopefully it's 1 game. But if it is like what we want with the Jackson Smith and Jigba route, where you wait till the bye week and then come back, I mean, you only missed the first quarter of the season, and while that's not great, at least you'll come back fully healthy. So hopefully Jamal Adams can get healthy soon. We're pulling for Prez, and now let us do our annual NFL/Seahawks predictions. So who wants to give their Seahawks win-loss record first? Do you have any takers? Any takers? All right, I'm gonna go first. Nobody in the audience really seemed too eager. I am gonna take the Seahawks at 11-6 this year. Now I'm going to list off the division because I did that as well. I have the San Francisco 49ers finishing at 11-6, but losing the division. I have the Rams at 8-9, and I have the Arizona Cardinals. They have disappointed me 3 years in a row, and that's it. They're 5-12 this year. Picked in the Super Bowl last year. Kevin, what do you got?
I'm very surprised that we're going to get Arizona for the 4th year in a row.
Apparently
I'm
they're in the
disappointed.
Caleb Williams sweepstakes. It looks like. Who knows?
Apparently, they are definitely. They have nobody.
Makes zero sense to me, but go ahead.
So it's kind of odd because I'm very similar to what Matthew had. And I'll get into specifics of this if you want me to, of why here in a little bit. I do have Seattle at top, and it's weird and ignorantly to say this. Because I've kind of gotten back and forth too, because I was like, oh, Niners are gonna. I have Seattle with 11 wins. I also had the Niners with 11 wins, but losing the tiebreaker. I had the Rams at 8, but I had Arizona at 6. Reason being is that people are going to come to the reality of running a 7th-round quarterback for a full season after only having 4 games behind his pocket. Even with that team, it's not going to go as well as planned. Now, that being said, 11 wins is impressive still, just because of the talent on that team. But I think we're going to learn that Brock Purdy ain't special, and that he's mediocre at best. Because honestly, it's very rare to find good quarterbacks in the NFL, as you may have noticed. Especially good to elite, and for them to find one just miraculously with the 7th-round pick is probably very low. I think with the pressure of repeating what he did magically towards the end of the season is going to be very hard to repeat, and in fact impossible. And that, I think with more tape too on him to learn his inconsistencies and stuff like that, I think it's going to hurt that team more. Now, Kyle Shanahan's going to run the ball a little bit more, but at the same time too, you can only do so much with that, especially with the weapons that you have around him. So where Brock Purdy's going to have to throw that ball, and it's not going to be as pretty as what it looked last time, no pun intended. So,
Nice.
I have Seattle at 11. Do I think they're an 11-win team? No. But luckily for the Seahawks, the NFC is a heaping pile of dog crap. So they're solid. They're solid. I think they get the edge over the Niners just because of quarterback play. I think Geno was just balanced better than Brock Purdy. Not saying Geno is the next coming of Jesus. I think he'll repeat kind of similar to what he did last year. I think we've seen his ceiling to where he's a solid game managing quarterback, and that's fine. You can be an Alex Smith, and you can still get your team to the playoffs and do okay in the playoffs, and that's kind of what Geno is. So I think that gets them to 11 wins. The Rams, with injuries and with their O-line being a pile of teddy bears and a couch cushion,
better than it was last year, at least.
yeah, but it's still not impressive.
Oh no, it was atrocious last year. It was embarrassing.
Yeah. And that's, I think I'm giving them praise saying that they're teddy bears and a couch cushion, because I think they're less than that, to be frank. They've lost some pieces on defense too. So it's going to be hopefully Cooper Kupp can stay healthy to carry that team. Go Eastern. And then Arizona, man, that's Matt's team. Sorry, man.
Kyler was my guy, but he's being cast aside. So
I mean,
Kyler Revenge Tour 2024.
when you got Call of Duty Double XP weekend,
That's true. That is true.
You got priorities, okay?
That's very fair.
You got priorities.
Modern Warfare 3 in November. You got to be injured until then. So that's fair.
Yeah. At this point, probably maybe should have taken what the Athletics threw at you. Might have made maybe a little bit more money. Yeah, if I have better chances.
I don't know. He just signed a pretty big deal last year, so he's probably doing just fine.
Yeah, but like if you're really good in baseball, like I'm not saying he's gonna get Mike Trout money, but like we'll see. So yeah, 11, 11, 8, 8, 6.
All right, JT, what do you got?
I tried to look at it kind of independently, but then I was like, well, how did it end up last year? And I ended up pretty similar numbers, so I know I'm accurate. I got a 10-7 record for the Seahawks this year, and I'm going with a second place finish in the NFC West. Going to give the Niners 11 wins. Gonna give the Rams a third place finish at a 7-10 record, and then Arizona, I think they can do even better, so worse from our eyes. I want to see a 3-14 season. Let's ride.
My God.
Sean?
And I think it just sniped Sean.
Yeah, like JT, me and JT's are identical to the record. Yeah, I just don't see how against, I'm giving them a little credit against Seahawks, Detroit, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Baltimore, San Francisco twice, Dallas, Philly, and Tennessee. That's 9. I just don't know how Seattle wins more than a couple of those. And that's not even including Pittsburgh, who if they look like the preseason, that's 10. But I'm just gonna say 9. I just don't see how Seattle wins like more than a couple of those, and maybe even drops them to the Rams, because I think the Rams will be a little better than people think, because Sean McVay is really good. I just, yeah, 10 wins is what I think it is going to be, and it probably needs to be, because the rest of the schedules is pretty soft. Like, you need to, Arizona's like, they had Colt McCoy and they were just like, no, let's get guys you don't know about, because they're just like, they're getting rid of Isaiah Simmons for nothing, sending him to the Giants. They're getting rid of their one good lineman for like a 4th round pick. They're just like, just get rid of people. They're clearly tanking for Williams. They want a bunch of picks. They got a bunch of picks from the Texans this last year for the pass rusher. Yeah. And so they got picks for him too. So they're going all in next year. They're going to be getting their quarterback and some other pieces. And I think they're going to be trading Kyler Murray. So they are tanking. They are going for that number 1 pick. JT is correct. I think 3 wins is it. It might even be too much. Like, they are trying to lose football games. So you better win both of those. But I just think, what's up?
I got inside info when you're done. Okay.
Also, they don't have Colt McCoy, so
that's what I said. Their best quarterback, they're just like, I don't want you playing because you give us a better chance of winning than the other 2 guys.
But I don't know if you saw, their OC is either their coach or their OC Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon is their head
Gannon
coach.
is a defensive guy, Kevin. He is not even an
But
offensive
no.
guy, but yeah.
But I don't know if you saw. They're not. He's looking for killers. Okay.
Yeah. Gannon is a defensive coordinator. He is a defensive guy, not an offensive guy.
I know.
And he is their head coach.
But he's looking for killers.
He's
So
looking for guys who ride the bus, who don't drive.
Yeah.
To work.
Are these actual comments? Like,
Yeah.
I have not heard.
Oh, you didn't see the video? Oh, you gotta go watch it.
Oh my
They
God.
could beat like the Texans, maybe the Commanders, and
Like he's
The
trying
Bears?
to pump up the
Like-
room, and everybody in the room just looks like, "What the fuck?"
yeah.
Like, it's so unmotivating at all.
Yeah, I don't know, JT. I don't know. 3 wins might be giving Arizona too much credit, but anyways, yeah, I have that exactly. I think. I will say this. Obviously, I don't agree with the. There's better numbers. This is just the raw data. If you just look at EPA per play, Brock Purdy was twice as good as Geno Smith last year. Now, like, obviously, Brock Purdy I had to fudge the numbers to make him qualify, because he only had 200 plays, 206 technically. But if you adjust some things, they're basically the same quarterback. But
A-E-E.
yeah, I think Brock Purdy is going to regress quite a bit because he was pretty lucky. With that said, Geno did lead the league in interceptable passes dropped in the red zone last year. So Gino just needs to play closer to first half Gino and not second half Gino. If they play second half Gino, there's no playoffs. It's not even, we're not having a conversation. It's done. If he plays just like average, like we're talking like 15th best quarterback, they should be able to get in the playoffs and get these 10 wins because the schedule is easy enough where they should get this. And like Kevin's point, I don't need you to go crazy. You're going to probably play worse in the beginning than you did last year. And like Kevin said to Brock Purdy's point, teams have never had film on Geno Smith where he's been consistent year in and year out with the same team. So they are now finally have film on Geno Smith. So we'll see how that goes. But I anticipate Geno to play consistently better across the board, less ebbs and flows and more here, and that I think actually will help the team a little bit. So yeah, that's why I have them at 10 wins, just because I think the other Cardinals are just two free wins. The Rams aren't super trying to win. I mean, you don't trade Ramsey and all these other picks and all these other things to like. They have first round pick next year, so there's that. But I think they're doing a soft reset on this. Yeah. With that said, we'll get to the picks later. I'm a little nervous about week one because Sean McVay is a better coach than Pete Carroll. So giving a whole offseason to plan for the Seahawks is a little scary. But yeah, 10 wins. 49ers do drop a little bit to 11. Yeah, JT nailed my rest of my
Now,
picks.
do both of you have the
Record.
Seahawks making the playoffs, JT and Sean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you win.
Okay.
You're winning 10 games. Like, how do you not?
The NFC, it's a hot pile.
You win.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
Yeah, I mean, other than division winners, if you're 500, you're going to go to the playoffs. So if you are above 500, you go to the playoffs. So
All right, Sean. That's a segue. Give me your playoff teams in each conference.
oh gosh, okay. I have Eagles. I kind of have one here that like it's been like I really want to do this. I'm just going to do it because I think it's going to be funny. I think Jordan Love's going to be a little bit better than Bears fans. I'm so sorry to my buddy Max who's going to be watching this. Packers fans want, because if the Packers have another, I don't want to say he's like Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm not saying that, but like I think he'll be a solid quarterback, and that might just drive Bear fans to the edge. Like if they just get another good quarterback, like they're just like, please stop. So I think the Packers actually win that division only because I'm not as big on the Lions. I think the Lions regress. I think the Lions had a lot go right for them last year. Jared Goff's not that guy. That offense isn't that good. I think they're getting a little better, but I think they dropped the ball with their picks in the first couple rounds. So off-ball linebacker and a running back was not it. So I think, and the Packers do have a decent defense. I think their defense will actually take a step forward. They don't play a first place schedule this time. I think the Vikings are not good. So I think that's just like an easy division to win. So the South, I like two teams here, actually. I think two teams are going to take a big step forward. I think it's going to be the Saints and the Falcons, but I think the Saints are going to win that division because, again, I think me and JT talked about this. The division, the schedule they play quarterbacks-wise is an absolute joke. I don't know. You guys should go look at the Saints' schedule and look at the quarterbacks that are on those teams because it's nobody's. So I think the Saints win that because of their opponents, then the 49ers. And then I have the Cowboys. I do have the Lions going to the playoffs as a wild card. And then I have the Seahawks in no particular, or those are just the three wild cards. I don't have do you want me to give you the rankings of the three wild cards?
No.
Okay.
No.
I have the Vikings, Giants, and Falcons on like the fringe of that. AFC, I have the Bills, Cincy, Jags, KC. Is that a repeat of last year completely?
I am not sure.
Yeah.
Bills, Cincy, Jags.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have the Chargers, Ravens, and I don't think this is gonna happen, but I just really want to do it with my gut. I like Mike in Miami. So I don't know if you guys saw the video I posted in our chat where he tells the Manning brothers to go F themselves. I really love him. So I really want them to go. So I put them as the last one just because their schedule's brutal. I think they're really good, but their schedule's just so brutal. I don't know if they actually make it, but I'm doing it with my heart, not my head. And I put Miami in there to be the last wild card in that division or in that conference.
We'll go reverse order. JT?
Fairly similar. So NFC, I've got I'm gonna take Dallas with the 1 seed, and then I'll put San Francisco, New Orleans, and Minnesota as the other top of their each respective divisions. And then wild cards, I've got Philly, Green Bay, and Seattle. And then in the AFC, I've got the same four as last year, like Sean had. So KC, Cincy, Buffalo, and Jacksonville. I'll probably give Buffalo the 1 seed. And then I've got Baltimore, the Chargers, and then I just throwing it over to the Jets. I feel like the Jets have a good enough defense, and the offense probably can probably rush the ball pretty well. And I mean, they've got a okay quarterback and a pretty good wide receiver one. I feel like they could be hanging into games and squeak some out. So
GT, that's who I had, and I crossed it out, wrote Miami. So
okay,
so we would have been identical, but I was like, no, I will go with my heart. So, but yeah, I had the Jets as my one out.
Kevin, who you got?
I actually have them ranked from so the number 1 seed in the NFC would be Eagles. I put them at 13 wins. I have us at the number 2 seed with 11 wins. Bear this in mind that I say this because the NFC is a hot pile of poo-poo. And I'm giving more wins than probably there should be. I have the Lions at 3. I think I agree with Sean. I think they'll regress a little bit, but I think that division is just.
Yeah, no, like Kevin, if you told me the Lions win, I'm not surprised. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
no,
thinking
like
point flips. I'm like, I think the Packers, but yeah, I have the Lions as like my number 2.
I actually have 2 teams out of that division going to the playoffs. So
well, I do too. So yeah, I have the Lions.
I have the 4th seed from the South being the Saints. I think Derek Carr is going to be a serviceable option for them toward that offense. We know that defense is good. We know the Saints defense is good. And I think Derek Carr provides them a serviceable option with, I mean, I know Kamara is suspended, but, Michael Thomas is still there. They have that tight end that's also really good.
Jimmy Graham?
No, the other one. But I mean, yeah, Jimmy Graham's there. If he's, I don't know. He's off running from cops and
That's
doing
true.
weird shit.
I mean, the Saints that me and JT talked about, the best quarterback that they play is Kirk Cousins the entire season.
What about Baker Mayfield in Tampa?
Oh, okay. they play. I mean, if Matthew Stafford makes it to week 16, it'd be Matthew Stafford. But like, is he going to make that far? And then whatever Jared Goff is, those are the 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
So I just have the Saints.
No, they play Trevor Lawrence. Okay,
I have the Saints there because somebody out of that poop division's got to make it through, and I think it's going to be the Saints.
I think the Saints and the Falcons actually are on their way to being decent teams this year and next year. Not right now, but like they are going to start turning.
I think I didn't like Atlanta going for, even though Bijan, or how you say his name? Bijan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a phenomenal player, but like that was not the need. There were so many other things in need that you needed, and you went
on defense
in the first round.
Defense.
Like
yeah.
In the top 10 or no, top 12, but yeah. 5, I have Niners with 11 as the tie. 6, I have Cowboys with 10 wins. And then the 7th final slot, I actually had the Vikings. I think there's enough there, especially with them grabbing the kid from Arizona. Is he from Arizona? The wide receiver that they got in the first round, Addison. Something Addison.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, yeah. I think him and Jordan Jefferson. I mean, it's just that with Kirk Cousins still there and Jordan Jefferson being an absolute monster.
You combine their names. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, excuse me.
They also have Hawkinson too.
Yeah. I think that offense is still going to be good. I mean,
they were just so lucky last year. They were just so lucky.
I know. I think they'll get a little bit better. Plus, with the defense, I mean, with that division as a whole being poo, I think there'll be enough to squeak by to get the 3rd wild card.
I'll say I don't know if I say poo, but they're like all like meh. Like the South is poo, but like
yeah,
the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions are all like you could make a case. They're all like solid football teams. Like they're okay. Like the South was poo.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And then the AFC, I have Chiefs at the number 1 seed with 14 wins. I have the Bengals at 2 with 12. I have the Bills at 3 with 11 wins. I have the Jags at the 4th seed with 9 wins. Now here's where it gets interesting. This is where I was kind of like split here. So I had the Ravens at 5. You're all gonna be think I'm crazy as butthole here. I actually had the Broncos at 6. That defense is very, very good. And
I
I
have
think
the Broncos as one of my teams that could make it with the Jets as well.
they added a receiver too, and I think Peyton's could fix. I mean, we all know what Russell can do. We all
They
know.
just they didn't have a body to catch a freaking football by the time the season starts. Is what they need to have. Like,
We all know what Russell can do. So I think Russell returns to normal Russell mode. Is he going to be what he did at like the beginning of the 2020 season? Probably not, but probably something close to it. I think they could challenge a lot of teams there. And then the Chargers just die usually every year. I mean, I can't until that team has 1 year where half the team does not die of injuries.
well, I just have them going to the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. And they went
I
to the
know.
playoffs
No. Having the Chargers there is fine. Like if someone told me that the Chargers are going to make the playoffs this year, I'm not going to argue against them. They're a great team. It's just unfortunate they have the weird, aura of bad luck around them that to where half their team dies.
The way to describe the Chargers, you know how you always say every year, like they could beat the Chiefs pretty handily. They also could be the team who loses to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Like they'll find a way to lose to the college team because it's the Chargers. Like if any NFL team was going to do it, it's not going to be the worst. It's going to be the freaking Chargers because they are just that franchise. They're cursed.
I think I think a lot of last year's weird thing with the Broncos are just Nathaniel Hackett having zero clue as to what to do with the team. Like that man should never have been put in charge of anything. Whereas Sean Payton, we know what Sean Payton brings to the table. Like he brings solid coaching. He brings solid coaching to the table. So I think they're going to get back on track, and that they have a very good, talented, young elite defense that I was even saying last season should have been probably one of the top 5 defenses there. It's just I don't think with Nathaniel Hackett at the helm they were able to put it together. I think I know Sean Payton's an offensive mind, but having a more veteranized coach that can bring people in to actually have an actual clue as to what the heck they're doing, I think that defense is going to shine a little bit more. I think they could be good enough to even take one for the Chiefs might split with the Chiefs during the season, just because we know what Russell can do. Russell has beaten Mahomes before on a team with, somewhat less weapons. Because
they were less talented than the team.
Yeah. Because he had just had Tyler at the time. Well, no, he had Doug. But he didn't have DK. But anywho,
there's no defense.
I have them, and then I have a split of question mark because I think I had the Broncos at 9 wins, and then I have at 7 with 9 wins either the Jets or the Browns. I just couldn't really decide because, as JT mentioned, you have a very solid defense with Aaron Rodgers at the helm with a good running core, pretty decent receivers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has had poo receivers for last like 3 years, and now he's going to a system with some solid young receivers. So I like Robert Saleh as a coach. So I think they have a lot there, and then the Browns have a lot of things going. It will just really depend on Deshaun Watson can get back to the old Deshaun Watson of old, just not being a piece of poo.
So you got to pick one.
Ooh, I'll be controversial. I'll say the Browns.
All right.
I have teams listed off to the side. I have the Jets, Titans, because they could win their division. The Broncos and Cleveland over there. And I actually have it where I think that the Seahawks would fall. I think they'd be like the 12th best team in the AFC. Like there's no shot in hell they make the playoffs in the AFC. But to Kevin's point, yeah, it's super deep over there. It's crazy.
All right. Well, we're running out of time here, so I'm going to roll down mine and transition into the conference championships and Super Bowl predictions. So, NFC division winners: Seahawks, Lions, Eagles, Saints. Wild cards: Giants, 49ers, and I like the Bears this year. And then in the AFC: Chiefs, Jaguars, Dolphins, Bengals. Division winners: Ravens, Browns, and Bills in the wild card. In the NFC Championship, I have the Eagles defeating the Seattle Seahawks. And in the AFC Championship, I have the Miami Dolphins over the Cincinnati Bengals. And in the Super Bowl, I predict that the Alabama way of life, when they played the Georgia Bulldogs, will reign supreme again, and Tua Tagovailoa will beat Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl, and the Dolphins are the Super Bowl champions. Kevin, who do you got?
Not that.
Matthew likes to get a little squirrely every year.
That was fun.
All right. I mean,
Tua's gonna stay healthy, and
Oh,
this is it. This is
God.
it.
I mean, he's got weapons there, so
Yeah, they're gonna light it up.
This is the year to prove it. Like,
Guess what? In our fantasy league, I got Tua and Tyreek. Let's go. Let's go.
okay, since I see we're running out of time. Okay, NFC Championships. I have Eagles versus question mark because honestly, it could be any.
You got to pick somebody. You got to pick somebody.
Jesus Christ.
You got to pick. Go.
Cowboys.
Okay.
Just because I think there's enough offensive power there to kind of get through, and I think Dak stays healthy and just kind of proves it this year. I think the defense takes a decline more than what the Cowboys people think the Cowboys will be. Eagles win it, of course. AFC Championships. I have Bengals versus Bills, and I have the Bills winning it. Just because I think it's the year that Josh Allen just gets super pissed off about not making it, and he's just like, "I'm making it this year." And then so Eagles versus Bills in the Super Bowls, and it's Bills Mafia all day, baby.
All right.
Because screw Philly fans.
JT, what do you got?
Eventually I've got Philly versus Dallas, and I've got Cincinnati versus Buffalo, and I've got Dallas versus Cincy, and Cincy still denying the Cowboys fans. I got Cincy winning it all.
I love that. I love it.
I'm a blend of JT and Kevin here. I have the most common pick. I have the Cowboys in the championship game as well. I have Cowboys versus 49ers. The Cowboys winning. Cowboys in the Super Bowl. And then I have KC because, like to Kevin's point, the Chargers, you don't bet against Mahomes till it happens. Like, I just don't, I mean, till it happens. But versus the Bills, but I have the Bills winning, to Kevin's point. The Allen's, he's ready. And then I have the Bills winning the Super Bowl. To JT's point, the Cowboys don't win. So a blend of Kevin and JT there. So yeah.
All right. Well, we got some interesting blends of predictions there. Let us know what your predictions are.
Scores.
Hawks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's a game on
game.
Sunday. There's a game on Sunday. LA Rams at Seahawks, 1:25 p.m. Fox. If you have TV, of course you do. Seahawks 5-point favorites according to Caesar Sportsbook. Let's give score predictions right now. I'm gonna go. Seahawks are gonna crush them. And not necessarily on the scoreboard, but Sean McVay will not be good. Matthew Stafford will be rusty. Cooper Kupp won't be there.
Is gonna be.
He's not. 30-20 Seahawks. Kevin, go.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think of that. I think it's going to be close because Hawks always play really crappy week one, other than 2020 season when we actually let Russell cook. It's going to be them figuring stuff out with all the little stuff. Rams still not there, but yet they do have Sean McVay. Sean McVay's always had Pete Carroll's number for the most part. It's going to be close. I actually have it on the 5-point line. I say Hawks win 21-16.
Sean.
I'll say since they've been the coach, Pete Carroll's one playoff win. Sean McVay has been in 2 Super Bowls. Sean McVay is clearly the better coach. Okay, so Hawks 31, Rams 21.
Kevin, or sorry, JT.
I've got Seahawks channeling the Michael Jackson all year. Don't stop till you get enough. They'll be there. You definitely got to be smooth criminal on defense. Don't want to be starting something with the Seahawks. You just got to beat it. Just play black and white and rock with them. And I've got a win of 30-23.
All right. Well, let us know what you think of week 1. Go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Matt. Sean's at NastyBilly22. Kevin is at C2Believe, SEA2Believe. JT is at JT_the Ginger. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Smash it. Just smash it right now. Smash it a lot. And then like our videos, comment. Tell us what you think in the Seahawks are going to do this year. Your predictions, what you think they're going to do week 1. And just, rage about the Mariners. They keep losing. With that, JT, thank you very much for coming on. Your hat is the Tacoma Rainiers. If you don't know, now you know. And with that, we will see you next time on Washington East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics.
Kraken coming back soon.
Kraken!